It's showtime.
Hey, welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? This is the only Survivor podcast. Each week I ask my best friend Thomas Powell if he did indeed watch a certain reality show, usually on a Survivor Sunday, but today is, of course, Marquesas Monday. Thomas, how are you doing this Marquesas Monday evening?
Jake, I'm currently soaking in a tub after seeing Avatar 2, The Way of the Water.
You know the way of the water.
Yeah,
now.
I'm all about the water now. You got to be in it. I'm going underwater to try and increase my lung capacity. I'm looking for whales under there that I can soul bond with. And
you're taking a bath in Lake Michigan to find these whales?
No, just my bathtub.
Those are some small whales, I imagine.
Yeah, but they're like easier to deal with than the whales in that movie were pretty big.
Super aggressive whales in Avatar 2.
Well, I just like, where would I put them, Like,
yeah.
I only got so much space. If I could get like a fish tank for them.
Yeah.
That's ideal, I think.
Yeah, in The Sims, there's a little cheat that you can make anything smaller or bigger with just a little keystroke. Maybe you could do that with a whale. Put it in a little fish tank next to your, I don't know, decorative globe.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. And the decorative globe is also like, I don't know. It's actually Pandora. It's not Earth. That's going to be like
Pandora is what the planet is called.
And it turns out that's actually like the Twilight Zone end where it's like, oh, we weren't on Earth at all.
What?
Because at the end of it, you all think it's taking place on Earth, but at the end of the reveal, it's like that globe. That's not Earth.
Oh,
this whole thing
Pandora.
was on Pandora this whole time.
Yeah, well, we knew that because we saw the first movie.
Well, I'm saying in real life right now.
We're on Pandora right now?
Prove to me that we're not.
I actually heard Pandora's flat.
And
it actually is.
Pandora, there's
it
a little give and take
because it's a movie.
Because, it's cool. I feel like they're pretty good at, curating nature, but also you don't really get to pick what nature there is, and sometimes there's advertisements, so,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know where there's a lot of beautiful nature, Thomas? A little country called Panama. Thomas, did you watch Survivor Panama last night?
I did. I gotta tell you, the middle of Avatar 2, I kind of wish that I was watching Survivor, because everyone was hanging out on a beach, but nobody was doing cool challenges or voting each other off. So I was like, what's the point of this?
What do you think of this new rumor that Jeff Probst might do it with challenges entirely?
It's one of the dumbest ideas they've ever had.
Yeah. They did fire tokens.
Yeah, fire tokens is an infinitely better idea than just getting rid of them. The thing I said in our Survivor DM that we're in is, it makes sense that they would do that because the last couple seasons have basically penalized anyone in the final tribal that is good at challenges, because they're like, that's not actually fair. That's not a real way to play the game. So they're just going to eliminate it entirely.
Yeah. Used to be, it was one of the main strategies of how to get to the end.
Yeah, it's no. People treat it like they just gave you the immunity necklace. It's like, well, you didn't have to do anything to get immunity. All you did was win the challenges we all lost. It's like, yeah, that's the thing I did.
Yeah, the main reason there's better juries is because of their jury's poor challenge performance. That's the number one reason, not, burned bridges or anything. Yeah, haters are going to hate. And let them hate.
Yeah, call them Nick Jonas because they're jealous.
Yeah. This episode first aired. The first episode we watched, of course, was called Breakdown. What do you think of that episode title?
Pretty good. Pretty apt. Is this the season? What was the name of the first episode?
Thomas, I couldn't tell you. I deleted that from my notes already.
There's no way to look. It's been lost of time. There's no way to look that up.
I mean, I guess I could open up the Survivor wiki, fandom.com, and tell you that it is actually called, oh my God, there's so many notes. The First Exile.
Okay. Because when the second one was called Breakdown, my thought was, I know there were a couple seasons where they like all the episodes were named after songs or whatever. And I was like, oh, is that like the Tom Petty song? And the answer is no. It's more about the guy that went cold turkey on cigarettes and went on Survivor.
Who's the first person to be exiled? Adam? Assyrian. The expulsion of the kingdom of Israel. I feel like I stumbled upon something that I didn't mean to. The fourth result is Survivor when you search for the first exile, and then everything else is about the Jewish diaspora, which I don't know about. So maybe it's good that I Googled this.
So you're saying you started something you couldn't finish?
That's basically what I'm saying. Mistakes are opportunities for growth, or whatever else they say on Lodge 49. This is a Lodge 49 podcast now. I think it was Scott, got very frustrated at one point. It was like, I wish everyone would stop speaking in riddles.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very funny. Very good show. This show's called Survivor. This episode first aired February 9th, 2006. This show is about Survivor again. How many viewers do you think this received? Last week it got 19.2 million.
I'm going to say people heard that there was a guy that went cold turkey on cigarettes, and I'm going to say it shot up to 19.5.
In fact, they didn't care to see so much talk of cigarettes, and it dropped to 18.75 million.
Even after the whole exile thing? This is bullshit.
I know. There was a horrible storm, and the old men haven't finished their shelter yet. The young men are also doing bad. The old women are trying to get fire, and the young women eat papaya. Just like all of their ages and genders are, right?
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of things to say about that, okay?
Yeah. Tell me about how old women and young women are different and how sometimes they eat papayas. And old men are always complaining about cigarettes and their lack of them.
I feel like this sounds papayas. Like it would be fun to do any of these things like that, but just with I've got Dane Cook on the brain because there's another podcast I was listening to that was doing a special series about Dane Cook. But just him being like, there's like women that are always like eating papaya. Have you guys seen this? And then he would like pantomime doing it, and he'd have a stool.
Mm-hmm.
For any of our younger listeners, that's what Dane Cook's stand-up comedy was like. He's like, we all got that friend who's a girl who's always eating papaya. And then he would do some exaggerated physical comedy. And he would be wearing like very tightly tailored t-shirts with like boot-cut jeans.
The papaya had expired before his wife turned 18. Get it?
Whoa. You know, we all have like 17-year-old girls. You meet a girl when she's 15 and she's eating papaya, and then you date her for a while, and then...
Yeah.
We all have that, right? That'll happen to us.
Cook. Oh, how about this? A future season of Survivor, Dane Cook Islands.
Yeah, you could do that with Dane Cook, and with the Islands is people that starred in movies with him. Or anyone else that was on Tourgasm with him. When you said the Island and anybody in a movie with Dane Cook, I definitely imagined the Jude Law movie, The Island, but with Michael Dane Cook and the Jude Law part. Yeah. What if, Dane Cook Islands is either people that are Dane Cook or people that are in the movie The Island or are in the band Islands. We have to stop coming up with so many genius ideas for simulated seasons, I should say. We only have so many of these we can do. Eventually we'll run out of new episodes of Survivor and we'll just have to create our own seasons. And you know what? We're happy to do it. Do you think that Dane Cook Islands would actually be, he's not a contestant, it's hosted by Dane Cook? Yeah. Dane Cook would be the host, and then
He would get 5 of his favorite comics of every race and separate them into 4 tribes.
Yeah, this is definitely this is like a 2003. Like this is definitely like a 2004 Comedy Central show.
100%. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but Mad TV definitely did a parody of Survivor Cook Islands, where they made everybody do like stereotypical things for their ethnicity.
Yeah, and then
Funny
they'd have
stuff.
Ike Barinholtz as Dane Cook, which they actually did in a sketch.
That's good. Dane Cook Barinholtz. Whatever. Shane talks about missing his kid and calls himself ADD Psycho Boy because life is always moving so quickly back at home. What a descriptor. Shane should go on next.
Yeah, I definitely
Say
was
that.
like, I sympathize because I could also go for some coffee, but like, I did like one of my favorite things this episode was that I'm sure he does miss his son. I kind of think he was playing that part of it up a little bit because what he really missed was the cigarettes
His
that he
son's
wasn't
cigarettes.
smoking.
My son is actually his favorite brand of cigarettes.
I think the urgency of seeing his son was a more acceptable way of being like, I really fucking need a cigarette right now.
Thomas, do you know Shane's last name?
I do not know what his last name is.
I'll tell you. Speaking of hilarious movies from the 2000s, he shares the last name with one of the funniest groovy guys from the 2000s. Movie guys.
Is it Shane Powers?
His name is Shane Powers. Do you know Shane Powers' son's name?
Is his name Austin Powers?
No, his name is Boston.
His name is Boston Powers?
Yeah.
I miss my son. Yeah, baby. I hope that he behaves.
So they go to do what they assume is a challenge, but instead they all stand on discs and they get new tribes. Terry and Danielle are the captains for a schoolyard pick. How do you feel about these two captains? Obviously, you've seen both of these people since they both came back, right?
Did I? I sincerely do not remember that.
Yes, Terry returned on our first season, Second Chances, and Danielle was, of course, on Heroes vs. Villains.
How long was Terry on Second Chances?
Not as long as he should have been. He had a very sad departure on that season.
That doesn't tell, like, was he an early out? Because that might be why I don't really remember him.
I think he made it, like, midway. I don't remember if he made the merge or... I don't think he made the merge. But he had to go home because his son was really sick or in an accident or something. So he needed to go see him.
I very
in the
vaguely
hospital.
remember this. I don't really start
Yeah.
seeing the cast members as people in the old seasons we watch until we get close to the merge. So they're all just
Yeah.
like there's like a few characters you latch onto, and then everyone else is just like, this is a person in the 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. Bruce is not chosen, speaking of people from the 2000s, so he goes to Exile Island, like our boy Romeo, until the next trial council, where he will take the place of the person voted out. I always like when they do this.
Yeah,
When
this is
they're
fun.
like, you're just going to replace whoever. You know, it's a gimmick I like so much. I actually used it in Survivor Wild West. And you read that, of course, Thomas.
Yeah, I did. I couldn't quote it word for word. It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, it's not the Bible or Romeo and Juliet.
No,
I wouldn't
of course
expect
not.
you to do that.
But what was I going to say? I do like when they do the schoolyard pick, and then at the end they're like, joke's on you, the person you didn't pick. Actually, it's good for them that you didn't pick them. Shame on you.
The old switcheroo. So now with their new tribes, they have to collect 6 wooden snakes and cross some obstacles. You know? I love the wooden snakes. Can't argue with that.
There's some real potential for... I'm surprised there aren't more Survivor YouTube poops, because, like, Jeff's description of this challenge, the number of times that he says the word snakes... I mean, you could just cut... You could just cut snakes into every single part of this. and it would be a fun, irreverent video that you would make in 2007 or whatever. And I just really feel like we missed out on that.
Hey, that era is kind of right around this era, too. I think, it was probably harder to do things back then on the internet. I don't fucking know. You could only put 10 minutes on YouTube way back when.
I was
now
a little
put 10 minutes on
disappointed.
TikTok.
That's true. That was when you could only do 10 minutes.
Ridiculous. The wooden ladder bridge looks fun. That was one of my notes.
Yeah, it does. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't real snakes.
Real snakes are cruel.
But not a real green snake. That's cruel.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. Real snakes. What's your favorite snake, Thomas? Early wildlife shot.
I like the little teeny snakes. Like the
cute ones.
little teeny, like, what's the word for them? I don't know. They're like the really small ones.
Garter snakes?
I think that they're even smaller than that.
Little baby snakes?
Yeah, just little baby snakes.
Baby snake do 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 do. Remember that song?
Yes.
Love it. It's about sharks, though, of course. Speaking of Lodge 49. Okay, so Shane is happy to be with the younger people over on Kasaya. They discuss expanding their shelter. Suri is annoyed with all the new people on her tribe. Suri, every time she's in a scene, I'm like, I get why she's so popular.
Suri is just great in a vacuum. Like, just very entertaining person, very easy to root for, very smart player. They definitely made her an immediate favorite by putting her in with a group of very unstable people and just had her react to them.
100%. Yeah, she is such a great, a reaction shot or reaction, talking head whenever anything ridiculous happens. And Thomas, I've seen this season once or twice before. Some ridiculous shit happens with Suri and some other people on this tribe.
What is this,
Shane
MTV with all this ridiculousness?
Shane says it's fun to have girls around, and, that's a gross thing to say. I can't say I disagree, High five. Thomas, can you high five me right now?
Yeah, I'm high-fiving. The listeners can't see, but if they were viewers, they could see, but we're high-fiving right now.
Exactly. If they, if they paid for the Patreon tier that includes video.
There's a high-five cam for $100 a month.
Perfect. Just a camera on each of our hands.
Yeah. There's a video feed. It's not us, but it's just our hands. There's two videos. There's a split screen video with our hands, and when we high five.
We have 4 drones, one on each of our hands. And they just automatically follow whatever our hands are doing like puppets.
This is a groundbreaking, similar to James Cameron's Avatar 2 Way of the Water. This is a groundbreaking technical masterpiece of a podcast that we want to make for you, but you got to give us the resources to do it, Let me give people a little peek behind the curtain. We talked about 20 minutes about Avatar 2 before we started recording this podcast here, and I asked Thomas a lot of questions. What about this? What about this? Because, of course, I don't really care to see that movie. But I have another question, Thomas, and it is this. At any point in Avatar 2, did anyone say Avatar? No one said Avatar, I'm afraid.
Fucking ridiculous.
You know what would have been really great? If Jeff Probst just showed up when they go to the next location. Like the tribal chief when they show up. It's not Roman Reigns.
Excuse me?
It's not Roman Reigns. Don't acknowledge him.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Who's the tribal chief here?
Yeah. But you show up and it's just Jeff Probst. And he goes, come on in, guys.
Okay, before we move on, I do want to say this is going out on the entire internet, so can you just remind me, who's the tribal chief?
Oh, it's, Roman Reigns is. I was saying that this tribal chief would be a different one that isn't Roman Reigns, but he is the tribal chief.
Yes.
This would be a tribal chief.
Shane is doing great, because there's girls around now. Yep. Melinda thinks she or Suri is next. That was sad. I didn't really care about Melinda either way, I think.
Yeah, I felt very bad for her this episode because she didn't do anything. And I know that happens to a lot of people. And, like, I mean that in, like, she didn't do anything negative. Like, she didn't...
Right.
She wasn't, like... She didn't, like, lose him a challenge. She didn't get in a fight with anybody. She didn't get caught trying to, find the idol or something like that.
She just hadn't made the connections that were necessary.
And also, it's not like there wasn't an effort made. It was literally the 4 younger... Which not even, like... Because I think Sari and Shane are about the same age. But Shane just went up to the 3 younger... the people from the younger tribes and was like, Core 4 till we die. I will kill my son before I break this alliance. Out of having talked to them for like 2 seconds. And then it was like, well, that's it.
Always a good strategy. Shane says he will kill them if they screw him. Which,
This is a guy.
I wouldn't put it past him.
These 2 episodes that we watched, I have never seen people place more trust in someone acting more like the least trustworthy. I think his normal personality, probably not a trustworthy person to play with. But also, he is going insane from nicotine withdrawal.
Having not seen this season, not knowing much about the season, how much longer do you think Shane will last?
I bet he's going to last way too long. Because he should have been gone this episode. I bet he makes the merge for some stupid reason.
So over on the other tribe, Terry, Nick, and Austin make a deal, but then someone else tries to make a Final Four deal with Austin, so someone's going to get hurt. I don't know. We didn't really spend much time on this tribe.
No.
Nothing happened.
They're not people.
Over on Exile, Bruce tries to make a fire, but it storms again. The storms this season, pretty bad, apparently.
Yeah, everybody seemed like they were roughing it. This is one of those seasons where people are like, everyone's skin looks bad, everyone's miserable. It's just a bad time.
Yeah. The only scene we got from Lamina, really, the only plot line rather, was that Nick and Sally go fishing and Sally shoots the spear deep underwater.
It is really funny to win fishing gear and then immediately lose the fishing gear.
Yeah. Remember when Rupert got so mad he almost murdered people because this happened?
It's so weird that guy was a fan favorite.
I know.
It's like, we love this psycho.
Back,
this guy's cool.
He's a cool guy because he's like a pirate and the show's like a pirate. So the immunity challenge, they have to transport giant zombie head from the water to a giant zombie body on the beach. Great shit, Yeah. What else can you say?
This is what we're missing. They should have, for like a fall season, they should have a special Halloween episode where they have to do that with one of the Home Depot skeletons.
Why not? It's right there. Home Depot could be a product placement for you, Survivor Jeff Probst.
Yeah, the 12-foot tall skeleton authority is here.
It's ridiculous that they're not doing this every year. But they also missed Ghost Island, They played Ghost Island in fucking April. October is the ghost month.
Ridiculous. What a missed opportunity.
I feel like maybe Jeff just doesn't always make the best decisions.
Well, I think you're going to reconsider that when they cut out all challenges.
Oh, that's right. Because that's a great idea.
Jeff's going to cut promos. He's going to talk shit to the camera and be like, you want challenges? Go watch MTV. This is Survivor.
Honestly, my dad would probably love it. He's always mad that, it's not they're not actually surviving out there because they can leave at any time or whatever his excuse is. If they didn't have to do challenges, he'd be like, oh, so they're actually surviving on a beach all alone?
They should die. Yeah. They shouldn't administer any medical attention to anyone.
Thank you. That's all I'm
Jeff
saying.
Probst should
I
be
agree with my
them.
dad here. Yeah. The most dangerous Jeff. So the immunity challenge is won by Lamina. Great stuff. Kazaya is having a time. Shane continues to have a hard time and discusses quitting. Sari says, let him quit.
It is so funny when everyone is, I get that you just made an alliance with him or whatever, but first of all, you probably should have guessed from the way that he's acting that this guy's not a reliable person to make an alliance with. Like, you're not going to go to the end with this guy. And you probably shouldn't make those kind of promises this early in the game anyway. But still, if you have to go to tribal council and someone is like, I don't want to be here anymore, let him go.
Yeah.
Just let him go.
You know, makes it easier for the rest of us. I completely understood where Suri was coming from here.
Suri is 100% right.
Yeah. But no, Aris convinces him to stick it out. You know, dudes rock. Aris is a very dudes rock energy guy, and I like that
He's
about
a yoga instructor, right?
Yeah.
He's like the only member of that alliance that seems kind of normal.
I mean, fair. He tells Melinda and Suri that he's going to vote for one of them. He's also straightforward, you know?
Also,
I do
like,
like that in a person.
that.
Just like, what the fuck?
Never,
what a
ever
weird
do
thing
that.
To say. Yeah. At Tribal Council, Shane complains some more and calls his withdrawals a psychotic, bad idea detox.
I have to assume that he has already told people that he quit smoking cigarettes, but I think this is the only time with this new tribe where he said it on screen.
That's a good point.
If this is the first time that they're hearing about it, at that point, wouldn't you be like, this guy's completely unreliable. We need to vote him out, like, immediately.
If that, yeah, maybe that's evidence for the case that he did tell them already. And they're like, hey, man, we're all missing something.
This makes them even dumber. Like, that's the thing, is like, the best case scenario is this is your first time hearing about it and being like, oh, well, no wonder this guy's acting so crazy. And they were like, should probably still keep him around. Let's get rid of the old ladies. Get him out of here.
So Suri and Melinda defend themselves. Suri says her family would be disappointed if she only made it 6 days, but then admits that she would actually be disappointed in herself. And then Jeff tells them that their tribe is all over the map.
Correct.
Why doesn't he say things like this more often?
Yeah, Jeff is aloof and mean, and that is what I want from Jeff.
Yeah, it's the best kind of Jeff.
Tough love, Jeff.
Shane gets 2 votes, which he was probably happy about because he was like, ooh, yummy, yummy cigarettes.
That's the thing, too, is like, especially at that point, you're like, well, no wonder he wanted to leave. Like, he'll thank me if I vote him off. Be no hard feelings.
But that was not enough because Melinda got the other 4. You know?
Someone there had to be like, the island's not done with you yet, Shane.
100%. Okay, so the second episode we watched this week was called Crazy Fights, Snake Dinners. How about that for a title?
Yeah, there certainly were some crazy fights, and there certainly were some snake dinners, so...
To be honest, I don't remember anybody eating snakes.
No, nobody really did, but, it's fun to think about.
That's true. This episode first aired on February 9th, 2006. Thomas, how old would you have been? February 9th, 2006.
Jake, I would have been 14 years old.
I, too, would have been 14 years old. And how many viewers do you think this episode received?
I'm going to say it rebounded slightly. I'm going to say it got 18.9 million.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
It did the opposite of rebounding, and the ball fell to the floor, and they lost another several 100,000 people.
It was a turnover? So,
it's
okay, was it like 18.2 million?
It was 16.98.
Oh my God, people were like, this shit sucks. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I don't like this guy.
Yeah, this crazy guy is really throwing this whole thing off.
The vibe is off on this show.
What is this,
happened?
Train Spotting? I don't want to watch this.
We've brought together 20 of your favorite heroin addicts to play Survivor and also go through detox.
Watch this guy, if I wanted to watch Celebrity Rehab, I'd go over to VH1.
Help, I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here is basically what that show was, I assume. You know how celebrities are always on drugs.
It's true.
Bruce comes to camp and is actually an expert at everything. Did you know that?
Yeah, he knows pretty much everything.
He filters water through 3 T-shirts. What? Would you trust this?
No. I mean, I might be desperate enough that I'd go with it, but it is one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, well, this guy seems to, I was like, I guess this guy maybe knows what he's talking about. And then when there was a little pushback on it, I was like, yeah, that does seem a little suspect. And I kept waiting for there to be a montage of everyone getting like horrible diarrhea, but it didn't happen. So maybe he's right.
I feel like that's what happened with Arzt on Lost. It's just like he presented himself as the smart guy scientist, and that's what he became.
Is this guy going to get blowed up by some dynamite?
You know, I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say he does get blown up by some dynamite.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's a real Arzt situation. They thought it was so funny when it happened on Lost. Actually, what did we say this started? 2006. Okay, so this had happened to Arzt already.
Yeah. R.I.P. Arzt. He was already dead at this point.
Arzt IP. Arzt IPD. Okay, so they've got some negative vibes over on Lamina as well. Nick goes fishing with some medieval equipment. As he says, they catch a lot of pufferfish, which you actually can't eat, but we'll talk more about that when we get to wildlife shots.
I was a little concerned that they were handling those pufferfish with their bare hands, because don't they have like...
Yeah.
They're poisonous, and they've got like spines on them.
Yeah, they were. They probably shouldn't have been doing that. But, you know, what else are you going to do? This fish is trying to teach me to drive. And no, thank you.
I guess they've got medical staff there if need be, but I don't know. I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that.
I'd be like,
wildlife shots. It's
like Mark Wahlberg talking about 9/11. If I'd been there, wouldn't have gone down that way.
Yeah, but Thomas, you've said time and time again you'd never play Survivor.
No, I wouldn't.
What if, okay, how about this? Not only do you get to play Survivor, which I know you want to, you get to be a tribe captain, schoolyard pick, the other tribe captain, Mark Wahlberg. Marky Mark himself. Yay or nay?
Mark Wahlberg is picking people based on whether or not he thinks they could stop 9/11 from happening.
Yeah. So obviously he would pick you first.
Well, he wouldn't be allowed to, but if he could, he would.
Well, Mark Wahlberg can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
He was
Mark
in the
Wahlberg
happening.
is like, my agent's gonna give you a call. We're gonna tweak some things here.
So at the reward challenge, they launch balls to tribe mates standing over the water. Just a fun, good, cool challenge.
I loved this.
You know?
This is good stuff.
Like, I can imagine myself doing the same thing at the neighborhood pool with a ball and a friend, you know?
This is one of those ones that just looked fun to do, like no matter which side of it you were doing.
Yeah. And super satisfying when you successfully get a point. Winners get lanterns, blankets, and pillows. We already mentioned this good challenge. Easy to follow, stakes are clear, and looks fun. Lamina wins again, and they send Bruce back to exile.
They were saying too many nice things about Bruce, so they made him go back to exile.
Yeah, exactly. Lamina is so happy with their rewards, and then it storms again. Man, every day it feels like.
Poor Bruce. He helps these people not be dehydrated anymore, and his reward is getting rained on.
Well, hey, you don't want to be dehydrated. Here's some water for you. Here's the way of water.
Yeah. Oh, you love the way of the water, huh?
Oh, okay. Another Avatar question. Do they get into the water filtration system and all that, like the precipitation and then groundfall and then rivers and ocean?
I don't think it rains in that entire movie, which is weird because they're like part of it is kind of in like a rainforest. I don't really recall it raining at any point.
More like a dry forest. Can't even drink alcohol in that forest. When you think about it,
that's actually why they have to leave. It's a dry
forests.
county, and Jake's been moonshining.
That's what Avatar 3 is going to be all about.
the way of the moonshine.
Shane picks a stone to be his thinking seat and then freaks out when somebody asks why he claimed it as his. This is a weird scene.
Yeah, this is... not normal human behavior. It's the kind of thing that you might do if you were suffering very painful withdrawal symptoms from one of the most addictive substances on Earth.
Unobtainium.
Yeah, exactly.
So Shane and Courtney bicker over on Lamina. Sally, Nick, Misty, and Austin check in with each other.
Jake, did you also feel like you were going insane when they were having a conversation where they're like, Shane just like bit my head off and I didn't even do anything. I don't know why he's doing that. Like, yes, you do. You know why he's doing it. He told you.
Mm-hmm. No, I would say I was going insane. I knew everything that was happening. I know everything that's going to happen. I am the god of Survivor.
It's one of those things, watching people have a conversation like that where it's just like, I just thought Shane was really cool, and all of a sudden he just snapped at me for no reason. I just have no explanation for it. It's like, you don't have any explanation?
Yeah. He freaks out. Yeah. Oh, and then on the Lamina, we've got the classic hot young people flirting alliance. You know, the one we get every season. That's always fun.
Yeah, and it always works. That's the other thing, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Beauty and the Geek taught us that hot people can be smart, too.
It's true.
So,
no one thought that before that.
Yeah.
They changed their minds.
Challenge, they have to fight over a bag in the sand. Good stuff. At one point at the final round, Danielle tried to power slam Ruth Marie, and then Ruth Marie tried to counter it into a Hurricane Rana, but they both failed and ended up just falling down. Very funny.
Yeah, what is this, Botchamania?
Yeah. I almost called the Kasaya tribe Cesaro because I was thinking about wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's not even his name
I thought
anymore.
it was cool when one of them did a big swing. They picked somebody up by their legs and they swung them around.
Yeah, that was fun. So the Claudio Castagnoli tribe wins after Bobby drags Ruth Marie to his tribe's mat. I feel like this was uncool.
Yeah, this did not look very comfortable for her.
No. So Lamina's bummed out. The boys agree to vote for Missy, but Sally is targeting Ruth Marie. How about that?
Sure. This tribe is fucking boring. That's what I think about this tribe.
I'm glad that I labeled the tribe names for each of those notes because none of that.
They got to do another tribe swap because there's too much drama on one of the tribes and there's not enough drama on the other tribe.
Yeah. Oh, I think it'll follow through. The drama will continue through this season like your need for nicotine does through your life after you consume it. Even one time, don't do drugs. Yeah.
Or when you do it a whole pack and times 3 in one day, every day.
Yeah. Either if you want to smoke 3 packs a day or don't smoke at all. Then they, learn not to smoke. I wonder if he still smokes or if he ended up quitting.
What if this really, the one takeaway that he had from Survivor, people are like, I think this really, puts a lot of things in perspective. And for him, the thing it put in perspective is like, God, I love smoking cigarettes. I'm never going to stop.
Cigarettes are just so good.
Oh, I missed these. I'm never going to be apart from them again. And also my son, I guess. But the cigarettes, number one.
Do you know why you're not allowed to smoke cigarettes on Survivor?
Jeff doesn't like the smell.
Well, that plus they're worried about the butts getting all over the beach and the wildlife.
It would be so funny.
This is a segment called
a bunch of
Wildlife
cigarette
Shots.
butts. On the beach and seagulls picking them up.
Why not? So we got some sort of eagle. We've got some other seabirds, fish, multiple types of fish, crab, snake, iguana, and the pufferfish that almost killed them all. How many different species of pufferfish do you expect there to be in the world, Thomas Powell?
One. There's only one.
There can only be one. It's the Highlander of fish. There are actually 100 193 species of pufferfish. They vary in size between small to medium, the largest being 20 inches long. They're found in temperate, tropical waters, never in cold water. While they move fairly slow, they have a very powerful tail fin that allows them to change direction suddenly when necessary. Now here's where it starts to get fun. If they are caught by a predator, they can fill their stomachs with water or air, becoming spherical in shape.
Big deal. I can do that too if I want.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Watch me.
Because I don't like to show off.
Round is a shape. That's what I say when I go to the doctor, and they ask me how my body image is. I say round is a shape. Yeah, I'm in shape. Round is a shape. That's what I say to my doctor.
Yeah, that's one of those T-shirts that you could get at like Walmart.
Yeah. Are you making a joke? That's where I go for my clothes shopping.
You have that right next to your I See Stupid People T-shirt.
Yeah, and then it's an arrow pointing up. Because I'm the stupid one. Because I bought T-shirts at Walmart. I did almost say McDonald's. The puffing up into a spherical shape will sometimes hide their spikes, so that the predator, instead of getting a tasty meal, they get an unpalatable pointy ball.
Ouch.
The predator will then choke on the fish and will be infected with a neurotoxin that infects their liver, ovaries, intestines, and skin. It is often lethal unless you're a shark or a dolphin. Dolphins use these fish to get high.
That's fucking sick. Dolphins finding recreational drug use is proof that they're intelligent.
Pufferfish can move their eyes independently and are able to change their color somewhat. And also, we talk about confidence all the time on the show. You know, you never want to come out and say you're confident. And these guys get it. And because they make no attempt to hide from their predators. Like, they know how dangerous they are. They're a very confident fish, as stupid as they look.
Do something about it. That's what they say.
Yeah. Newborns are extremely small, but when magnified, they look just like a regular puffer fish. I just thought that was a cute thing. You know, imagine a puffer fish, but like infinitely smaller. Fucking cute, you know?
It does sound pretty cute.
What is this, Ponyo? I don't actually know what Ponyo is about. Fish, I think?
Yeah, there's a little fish.
In Japan, males were observed making incredible geometric patterns in the seabed sand to attract the females. David Attenborough, famous human male, called them the greatest artists of the animal kingdom. How about that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Where do you think they rank?
Imagine being the greatest artist of your species and then just some big guy grabs you and like pokes themselves with you to get high.
Yeah, imagine.
Pretty undignified.
It's like a fucking mushroom in a human.
Very disrespectful to like grab Salvador Dali and poke yourself with him.
I mean, but have you seen some of his paintings?
Yeah.
Is that guy not on drugs?
Yeah, that guy was gone off that puffer fish.
Clocks melting? No, no, thank you. I can't imagine. What do you
It would
think
be
they're
really
rank?
funny if there was like some
Extinct
early
to least
version,
concern.
some early version of Benadryl, and like that was the explanation for all of that kind of art. Was just like, yeah, people were taking a lot of Benadryl.
Yeah. He fell asleep halfway through the painting and then just finished what had started. That's why they're all falling off on the edge there. Great painting. Favorite painting, Thomas? This is a new segment called Get to Know You.
Favorite?
What's your favorite
my
painting?
favorite painting.
Your favorite painting of all time? Like, you know, like, well, whatever. No qualifications. Favorite painting of all time.
I don't know that I have one, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Wow. Mine's Nighthawks because I'm a classy gentleman.
Okay.
Thank you.
I like
my
Mondrian
favorite-
a lot, but there's not really like one Mondrian that's like, that's the one. They're all kind of similar. It's just like, wow, there sure are primary colors there. And some white.
What's this artist's name?
P.A. Mondrian? You've definitely seen. It's all the like, it's usually like square patterns, and they have blue, red, and yellow like squares along with just like white, basically.
Sure. I definitely misspelled his name. Oh, okay. Yeah, I never had a name attributed to this piece, but yeah, very cool.
I like Mondrian, and I like basically all impressionist painters. I'm a big Claude Monet fan.
Okay. I'm a big Frank Caliendo fan.
Yeah.
My favorite impressionist.
And if he was doing an impression of P.A. Mondrian, I think it would sound a little something like this.
Because he's a visual artist, you're not saying anything? Is that
Yeah.
the bit?
I think what it would actually sound like is he would just do like a John Madden voice. But it would just be like,
Yeah.
oh, you got your red here, you got your blue here. Boom.
It's pretty good, actually. Hey, the playoffs are happening, baby.
That's right.
The NFL playoffs are here, and the Lions are in it?
No, they are not.
Damn.
They did have a winning
Really
record
tough.
this year, though.
And all of those kneecaps. Did you know the Detroit Lions actually eat 7 kneecaps a year in their sleep?
I've heard this before.
That's true. Terry says at Tribal Council that this has been a very physically tough experience. Dan says it's been tough, but appreciates the companionship. Dan is the astronaut?
Yes, I believe so.
Austin talks about the fish they've caught. Every time I've read Austin throughout this whole episode, I couldn't recall what he looked like, so I was just imagining Austin Theory. What if he was in Survivor? That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Get Austin Theory on Survivor.
And then midway through, Jeff is like,
Hashtag.
your name is Theory now.
Yeah. And then at the final Tribal Council, he's like, my name's Austin Theory, actually, the whole time. It was me, Austin Theory, the whole time. And then at the end, Jeff Probst finally introduces him as Beyblade's Dark Blade or whatever the fuck. Did you hear about this?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, here's the latest in Austin Thor lore. Austin Thor lore? Austin Theory lore. This is a new segment called Austin Thor, in which I tell you about Austin Theory lore. He came out to, I don't know, whatever event a few months ago, and somebody hit the wrong button. So instead of his like nameplate playing on the Titantron behind him as he made his entrance, they played the like Beyblade graphic for the toy they were selling, like between scenes. You know how the commentators will always be like, "Hey, this show is brought to you by Cheesy Puffs or whatever," or in this case, it was Beyblade's Blades in the Dark or whatever the fuck the toy was called.
I'm shocked that Beyblades are still a thing.
Why not? Cool tops fighting? What's
I guess,
better
yeah,
than that?
the appeal is universal.
So the Austin Theory is Mr. Beyblades now. Look it up. It's funny. Jeff asks Misty if there's more pressure on the women because the men are doing so well. Jeff, what does that mean? Why did you ask that question?
Yeah, I don't know. Come on, man.
Ruth Marie says that she feels vulnerable, but she only gets 2 votes to Misty's 4. Goodbye, Misty. I can't believe the Hot Young People Alliance didn't work.
Yeah, it always works so well is the thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, you had to trim some fat, and now it's Diamond's brightest friends, or whatever the fuck they say. So that's 2 episodes of Survivor. I know that's a lot of content for 1 week, Thomas. But I do have to ask, did you watch the challenge Ryder Dies last night?
No.
Okay. Well, they did a challenge where Jordan and Fessel had to shoot balls at targets, and then Devin helped Jordan from the sideline, and then Fessel was doing so poorly that he helped him too, even though he was on the other team. Then 2 other people did a puzzle, and then 2 other people did a memorization puzzle, and then they did a game where 2 people were attached to a tight bungee, and they had to both reach a bar at the end in the sand. By the end of the challenge, Fessel's team had a better time, so they won. Then it was Nani and Mariah in the elimination, and they had to lift up a heavy wall to reveal scrambled words, and then unscramble them on a separate board, and then press a button once they've solved all the words. Also, guess who made an appearance?
Who?
Well, it's I'll give you a hint. The season's called Ride or Dies, and TJ is the host. TJ's a married man. So who might his ride or die be?
Is this why? Did TJ's wife show up?
TJ's wife came, and she introduced the challenge for them, and said a bunch of lines that TJ would normally say. And it was.
Did she
awkward.
also laugh at their misfortune?
At one point, he whispered something about one of their strategies to her. He was like, "Oh, she's like putting the letters on the board before unscrambling it. That's a horrible strategy." And she just goes, "Okay." It was very funny. She was so not invested.
Please,
She's like,
please do this for me, honey.
Okay. Like, I imagine, like, she just came to whatever country they shot in to, like, visit, you know, for a week or whatever. And he was like, "Oh, I got to go to the shoot tonight. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I guess I'm not doing anything else." So Nani and Mariah finished at the same time, but Mariah spelled one of the words wrong because she was moving too fast. So Nani won. Hey, how about that?
Cool. Sure. Okay.
Yep. Here's the Music Minute.
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control.
To quote Bernie Sanders, yeah, okay, great.
Or to quote TJ's wife.
Yeah, exactly.
At the Music Minute, it's a song they did by Two Door Cinema Club. Don't remember what it was. Somewhere Only We Know by Keane is another song they played this episode. Do you remember this song?
What song is this?
Somewhere Only We Know.
Oh, yes, I do remember that song by Keane.
I think that's
yes.
how it goes, yeah. This was the first single from their debut album, Hopes and Fears. Oh, that's kind of fun, like Hopes and Dreams, but it's different. Released February 16th, 2004. How old would you have been 2004, Thomas?
How old would I have been in
16.
2004?
How old would you have been February 16th, 2004?
I would have been 12 years old.
I would have been as well 12 years old.
My sister
close to
had
13.
Keane's CD.
That's so cool. Did you know it actually was reached number 2 on Billboard's top adult alternative songs?
I did not know that.
And
I do
your
now,
sister is she was an adult in 2004, I'm sure. In that she's older than us, and I don't know how old anyone is ever. The lead singer said, writing the song, he was hammering away on the piano. I was thinking of something like David Bowie's Heroes, which you drive along to a really rocking beat. How about that?
Okay.
The song is about a place in their hometown where the Battle of Hastings occurred, which was fought on October 14th, 1066. I don't really know what that is. Do you know what that is? The Battle of Hastings?
I've heard of it, but I can't say that I really know much about it. There were a
Yeah,
lot of
sure.
wars back then.
And today still, too. Military-industrial complex and all of that. This song has been covered about 1 million times. So, that's Keane. Not a lot of music this week, weirdly. I don't know
Strange. Oh well. More next week, I'm sure.
why. I hope so. I really hope so, because Music Minute's a fun time. We love to talk about music. Now, we're running low on these, what's it called? Mad Libs, Survivor Mad Libs. But we've still got a few left. Thomas, this is a segment, of course. Why am I telling you, you know? Listener, this is a segment called Probst Bros. Can I get an adjective?
So we
What?
are running low on them. And I would like to point out that I do have a hard out pretty quick here, so maybe we skip this week.
We can save this week. You know what? I love that way of thinking. So we'll do that next week, and it's going to be good. Thomas, tell people your Twitter before you have to leave.
You can follow me at Tom. I'm on there. I'm posting. You know what it is.
DYWSLN is the show on Twitter. DYWSLN is the show on Twitter, and on Survivor Instagram, it's the Only Survivor podcast. I'm trying to go fast, so I'm misreading all of the words. Patreon shows, patreon.com/justpodcast. We just invented a new one where you can give us $100 for some reason. Do you remember why you said that earlier?
Oh, it was for the high five cam.
The high five cam, of course. $100 a month, and we have to operate 4 drones. We've got to figure this out.
Eventually it'll pay for itself, okay?
Sure. You know what? You're right. The investment is worth it. Do you want to give people a boilerplate reviews they can leave us on Apple Podcasts?
This is my favorite podcast. I like it better than all the other podcasts. I give it a big thumbs up.
Alrighty. Well, until next week when we watch the next 2 episodes, 4 and 5 of Survivor Panama, I'll just say now, have a great summer.
Deuces.
I was awakened in the middle of the night. I thought I heard you calling my name. I looked around, but there was nobody there. I knew that it was only a dream. Well, I pulled up the covers and I tried to go to sleep, but I couldn't seem to get you off my mind. Here I go again, I'm missing you again. Think about giving me just one more try.
Doing all of this really made me want to watch that movie again, because I don't think I've seen it since high school.
Yeah.
Which is why would I rewatch it?
I'm going to tell you, if I watched it, I probably wouldn't like it very much because I hate Baz Luhrmann's whole thing.
Yeah, but this one, it's Romeo and Juliet, the world's greatest story ever told.
That's a good point.
What if James Cameron did Romeo and Juliet? What would that look like? Fucking
There'd
Navi
probably be
3.
like a whole hour-and-a-half long period in the middle where they have to go to a different city in Italy, and then there's whales there.
It would be the water Navi versus the fire Navi, but then there would be a little water girl and a little fire boy, and they would fall in love.
Yeah.
Just like Katara and Zuko in a fanfic I read. Okay, I wrote it.
Okay.
I made them all adults, so it was cool that I was writing about it. But they had
This got
adult
defensive
times
very
together.
quickly.
Okay, because I can hear your thing. I can hear your disdain in your voice and just the inhalation of air into your mouth. I can hear you're gonna say some shit about my fanfic.
I'm gonna say that I was
really
not.
good.
That was not the thing that I was. I was judging about. It was more the writing fanfic
Oh, but
that I was
you
judging.
admit you were judging. I love writing fanfic. It's my favorite thing. You can read my fanfic at survivorwildwest.tumblr.com. It's about Survivor. You read it, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's been a while, but yeah.
Here I go again, I'm missing you again. Think about giving me just one more try. Think about giving me just one more try.
Smarten up, Probst.